Hey friends, in this video, we have taken reference from 6 great books based on investment. And the books are The Intelligent Investor, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, The Psychology of Money, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The 80-20 Principle, and Learn to Earn. I would recommend that you watch this video with your parents, siblings, friends, or partner, because money is a topic which we deal with in our daily life. So understanding investment and money will help you immensely. Let's start the video and let's talk about 50 tips. Tip 1. If you are new to investing, then start with investing in your country. Most of the people do not want to shortlist companies because they do not have time to research and they do not know which company to pick. They do not know the company they are investing in will perform like Wipro and will multiply their money, or will perform like Reliance Power and will sink their money. For these types of people, Warren Buffett, who is the richest investor of the world, says these people must start their investment by investing in their country. So, how can we invest in our country? So, let's see it. There are mainly two big stock exchanges in our country, Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. Those indices are known as Sensex and Nifty 50. Sensex consists of top 30 companies according to their market value, and Nifty 50 consists of top 50 companies according to their market value. This means Sensex and Nifty contain top companies of India. So now you can ask, why should I only invest in them? The answer to this is, in the long term, the economy of the country has to grow. And if we are living in India, which is a high growth nation, then the economy has to grow. And if you are investing in the top companies of your country for the long term, then according to Warren Buffett, you are investing in your country's economy. Now, you may say there are ups and downs in the market, and if this happens, then you can lose your money. The answer to this is yes. There are ups and downs in the market, but in the long term, Sensex and Nifty have to grow. And if you invest for long term in Sensex and Nifty, then you will get around 15% of return, which is a good return. You don't have to sit for hours and study about the market, and you don't have to shortlist companies. You just need to invest a specific amount which depends upon you, rupees 2000 or 5000 monthly in Sensex or Nifty. And the most important point is that you have to increase the amount you are investing every year with 10%. This means if you are investing rupees 2000 every month in 2022, then after 1 year you have to invest rupees 2200. Tip 2. Do not use credit cards. You must have heard most people saying that use credit cards. Then why I am saying you to don't use credit cards? Let's see. First of all, credit cards gives you false belief that you have money, but in reality you don't have. We understand the credit card limit as our money, and because of this we exhaust the whole. And when the bill arrives, we think that where I have spent this much money. And do you know, if you only pay the minimum amount due, then the next money credit card companies charge you 30 to 40%, which is quite high. If you spend money physically, then you get a feeling that the money has gone out from your pocket. But while using credit cards, this doesn't happen. Because of credit cards, you will end up spending more. Tip 3. Maintain your credit score. Credit score lies between 300 and 900, and a credit score of above 700 is considered good. A good credit score helps you in many ways, like providing your loan at a low interest rate and much more. So, to build a good credit score, you just need to do one thing, which is to pay your loans monthly payments on time. For example, if you have taken a home loan or an education loan, then pay its monthly payment on the given date. Please do not delay it, as you can think, how does it is harming me? But you do not know it is reducing your credit score drastically. A good credit score can provide you with a loan where other people are unable to get it. Along with this, making minimum payment of credit card also reduces your credit scores. So, make full payment every month, that too before time. Tip 4. Invest in bonds. A bond is simply a loan taken by a company from the public. If a company borrows money from the bank, then it has to pay around 12-13% rate of interest. But the company doesn't want to give this much amount of interest to the bank. So the company says to public, dear public, if you invest your savings in fixed deposit, then you can get a rate of interest around 5 to 6%. But if you will buy my bonds, then I will provide you with 8 to 9% rate of interest. And basically, it's a win-win condition for both you and the company. Because if a company takes money from the bank, then it has to pay around 12 to 13% rate of interest. And if you put your money in bank as a fixed deposit, then you will get around 5 to 6%. So now you and the company decide to eliminate the bank from the middle so that you both can enjoy a gain of 2 to 3%. This is basically the concept behind bonds. So let's see some basic terms used in bonds. Number 1 is coupon rate. This means rate of interest the company is giving to you after taking your money. The second is tenure. The bonds company is borrowing money from you. Then it has to tell a time period that after this much years the company will return your money, just like happens in home loan or any other loan. That after this many years you will return money to the bank. You can buy corporate bonds and government bonds. But do proper research before buying. Tip 5. Understand inflation. Inflation rusts your money. Inflation is the rate at which the prices of goods are increasing. When we talk about our money and finances, then we forgot about inflation. So let's see what is inflation. You all know the resources which we all are using are limited. You take any resource like electricity, fossil fuel, they all are limited. But the demand of human beings is constantly increasing. And along with it, because of the increase in population, this demand is increasing even more. And if the demand increases, but supply does not, then naturally the price of the thing has to go up. You can see it during the lockdown. Demands of sanitizers were increasing, but the supply was not increasing, and because of this, the price of sanitizers increased. So before investing in anything, ask yourself, will this investment beat the inflation and provide me a suitable return? This is the main reason why investing for the long term in fixed deposit is not a right decision. We will see it in detail in next point. If you are seeing an ad on television that this mutual fund will give you 10% return, but in reality you will not get 10% of return because inflation is not included in it. If inflation is 6%, then in this case the rate of return on your money will be 4%. If you now invest rupees 1000 in this mutual fund, then after 1 year they will become rupees 1100. But the thing which you are buying now for 1000 rupees will cost you 1060. This is the concept of inflation. Tip 6. Don't invest in fixed deposit for long term, instead put your money aside in something else. So why I'm saying don't invest in FDs for the long term? See, if you put your money in a fixed deposit, then you will get an interest around 5 to 6%. But as India is a growing economy, then the inflation must happen, which means price of goods have to rise, and average inflation rate of India is 6%. So in a fixed deposit, if your money is growing by 5% and the prices of goods are increasing by 6%, then your money is growing by -1%. This means in FD, your money is not growing but it is reducing. See, if you do a FD today of 1 lakh for 20 years at an interest rate of 5% annual, then after 20 years your investment of 1 lakh will grow to 2,70,000. But the point is, as India is a growing economy, then the inflation must be around 6%. So after 20 years, the thing which you are able to buy for 1 lakh, you have to pay rupees 3,30,000 for it. This is the biggest drawback for FDs. Tip 7. Do not depend on one income stream. Yes, it is one of the most important points. Most of the people say, hey bro, now I have a decent job. Most of the people lost their well-paid jobs in the lockdown. The people who were earning good amount monthly, their monthly income went to zero. So I would like to give you one advice. Instead of wasting your time watching OTT and watching television, invest that time in yourself. Continue to your job, but after getting back to home, learn a new skill which you can later monetize for money. In that time, you can learn coding, UI UX designing, video editing and much more. And the most interesting thing is that you do not have to spend 1 rupee to learn this. you can get tons of free courses on YouTube and other courses platforms. Tip 8. Don't live from paycheck to paycheck. As we have seen earlier, those that do not depend on one income stream by that point arises that don't live from paycheck to paycheck. This means salary comes into your account spent in some days, and then you are taking tension for money. Then salary comes and this cycle continues. If you are doing this, then you are playing a high risk game. Because if you lose your job, then you have to suffer a great financial setback. And for protecting from it, the concept of emergency fund arises. Tip 9. Build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a fund, which means you keep it separately from your usual expenses. So that, God forbid, if you have any emergency, then you have a medium where there is excess cash. You build an emergency fund for something that you cannot plan for. But you know that it may happen to you, and that's why you set aside money for it. For example, if you lost your job and it took you 6 months to find a new job, then how will you survive in those 6 months if you do not have an emergency fund? Your expenses are not going to stop, so that's why you build an emergency fund. Most of you watching this video are young and have just started your earning career. And I tell you that it is the hardest age to build an emergency fund. But you need to do it, because if, God forbid, anything outward happens, then you have financial protection. You have to build an emergency fund for minimum 6 months. This means your emergency funds must contain your 6 months expenses. If you have an expense of rupees 30,000 per month, then you must have an emergency fund of rupees 18,000. To build this, you have to stop your unnecessary expenses. And the most important thing of building an emergency fund, that you will put your emergency amount in another bank account, because where your salary comes and you would try to build your emergency fund in the same account, then it will never happen. Tip 10. Learn about future. If you are using the internet, then chances are that you must have heard these words: Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. See, blockchain technology and cryptocurrency is the future. As governments all the world has legalized it, Indian government has also legalized it, because this is the future. So start learning about it, so that you can invest your money in it for long term. We will talk about interesting in crypto in next point. So let's see how you can learn about this technology. There are many courses available on YouTube, and you can also read books written by experiences. Here are some of my book recommendations: The Basics of Bitcoins and Blockchains, Life After Google, and The Blockchain Revolution. For remaining tips, wait for our next video. Thanks for watching.